Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're going on a wild journey inward. We're literally going past your skin, past your tissues, all the way down to the microscopic firing of your own brain cells. What we are exploring today, well, it might just completely change how you perceive reality itself. And honestly, once you notice this, you absolutely cannot unsee it.
Okay, let's dive into this. We spend our entire lives just assuming the voice in our head is, well, us. We assume we're the conscious creators of that endless, constant stream of commentary. But what if that core assumption about who you are is entirely backward? Really think about it for a second. Did you consciously generate your last thought?
Let's actually test this out with a quick 60-second challenge right now. Seriously, you can even pause this explainer to do it. Just close your eyes and try to have absolutely zero thoughts. Just pure silent awareness. No thinking aloud. Well, if you're being honest, a thought about what you're having for dinner or maybe a sudden panic that you left the stove on probably popped up anyway, right? This simple little experiential exercise proves something absolutely profound. Thoughts just appear uninvited. They pop up fully formed, completely outside of your conscious control.
And the crazy thing is, there's hard science backing this up. Back in the 1980s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet ran these famous experiments proving that your brain actually initiates an action or a thought 300 to 500 milliseconds before you are even consciously aware of it. Let that sink in. You aren't generating your thoughts in real time. You're just receiving them. You're simply observing them after unconscious processes have already built them. Your conscious mind is literally just playing catch-up.
Now, when you finally realize that you're receiving thoughts, not creating them, something truly beautiful happens. You start to develop what's called metacognitive awareness. Basically, this is your ability to observe your own mental processes from a position that isn't totally entangled with them. It's all about creating this quiet, spacious gap between yourself and the noise in your head. You start to realize you are the vast, open sky. And your thoughts? They're really just clouds passing through.
So, let's look at Section 1, the source code of recurring thoughts.
If we pull back and look at the entire neural network of the brain, it's pretty clear that our minds are essentially giant prediction machines. They run on these automated loops, constantly trying to anticipate what's going to happen next, based entirely on pattern recognition from what has happened before. So practically speaking, this means your thoughts are very often just echoes from the past, not fresh responses to the present moment. Think about a time you were dreading a difficult conversation. Your brain immediately pulled up old patterns, maybe even an old childhood memory of feeling rejected, and just projected that straight onto the future. You felt anxiety about the present, but your brain was actually just playing an outdated automated recording.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The frequency broadcast system.
I want you to think of your entire physical body as a massive frequency broadcast system. You are, quite literally, a walking, talking broadcast tower radiating an electromagnetic signal based entirely on the internal state you identify with. The HeartMath Institute actually went and measured the electromagnetic field generated by the human heart, and get this, it extends a full 8 to 10 feet from your body in all directions. This invisible field carries the actual information of your internal state. So when you deeply believe that your anxious thoughts are you're literally broadcasting the frequency of anxiety out into the surrounding world, and people's nervous systems unconsciously pick right up on that signal.
Which brings us nicely to Section 3, the collective thought pool.
And this brilliantly illustrates something kind of mind-blowing. We aren't just these isolated little consciousnesses trapped in our individual skulls. We are individual receivers, tuned into a massive, invisible field of shared human thoughts, beliefs, and frequencies. When you track the sources of our daily thoughts, the data is staggering. Roughly 65 to 70% of them come from this collective field. These are just global anxieties you absorbed from the news or cultural narratives you simply inherited without knowing it. Only about 15 to 20% actually come from your own personal history, and a tiny 10 to 15% are from your direct present moment sensory experience. So the vast majority of your mental energy is literally being hijacked by a collective radio station of static and anxiety.
All right, let's speed things up a bit for Section 4, the reality response mechanism.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how quantum physics enters the chat. Quantum physics suggests that reality isn't just this fixed, objective structure sitting out there. Instead, it's a responsive, fluid field that literally organizes itself around the frequency of your observation. Because of this, a tiny linguistic shift changes absolutely everything. Think about the difference between a thought-based identity, where you say, I am anxious, versus an awareness-based identity, where you say, I am observing anxious thoughts. When you make this shift, you dissolve that limiting filter. You stop broadcasting the chaotic static of being the anxiety, and you start broadcasting the stable, clear frequency of pure awareness. And guess what? The responsive field of reality starts organizing itself around that much calmer signal.
I highly encourage you to test this empirically for yourself using a 4-week reality response journal. It's super simple. In week 1, you just document your baseline recurring thoughts. Just write them down. In week 2, you look for pattern recognition. Start noticing where your day-to-day reality literally organized itself around those exact thoughts. In week 3, you actively practice non-identification. So when a thought arises, you just mentally note, oh, that's a thought, and let it pass. And by week 4, you document the reality shift. By dropping those old filters, you'll actually gather direct, measurable evidence of reality reorganizing itself, bringing you totally new outcomes and opportunities.
Let's bring it all back down to earth in Section 5, Living as Pure Awareness.
So, the crucial point is this. The ultimate goal here is not to become some emotionless robot or go sit in a cave to miraculously stop all your thoughts forever. It's simply about maintaining a spacious presence in your normal life. Operating from this awareness fundamentally upgrades your entire human operating system. You start experiencing deep relationships without that clinging neediness. Your work and your creativity start to flow naturally because your output is no longer tied to proving your self-worth. Your nervous system finally relaxes, which actually allows your body to heal. And you might even notice a natural financial flow opening up, simply because you've dropped the heavy burden of identity that was holding it back.
To make this a daily reality, try this concrete 20-minute morning integration practice. Spend the first 5 minutes on awareness recognition, literally just resting in the feeling of being aware. The next 5 minutes on thought observation, just watching your thoughts pass by like clouds, labeling them without any judgment at all. Then 5 minutes on sensation observation, feeling your physical body without attaching any story or meaning to those sensations. And your final 5 minutes on a reality preview, just feeling into what aligned actions naturally want to emerge today from this new spacious place. This right here is exactly how you shift your broadcast from chaotic radio static to a clean, stable frequency.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one absolutely profound truth. You are not your thoughts. You never were. They are simply phenomena appearing in the vast, open space of your consciousness. So the only question remaining is this. Are you going to continue identifying with the automated loops of the past, or will you finally step up and live as the unlimited awareness that reality is just waiting to respond to? The choice and the frequency you broadcast next is entirely yours.